My Fox Watch continues with X2, X-Men United.
Holy shit.
What's going on, everybody? It is I, yours truly, the Ace, here with my review to X2, X-Men United. Hit that comment section and let me know what you thought about this movie. 2 down, 16 to go as I'm trying to knock out all 18 Fox superhero movies leading into Deadpool and Wolverine. Just did X-Men 2000 yesterday, so make sure you guys check that out. So without further ado, here's X2. This is exactly how a sequel should be. Coming off the hype of X-Men 2000, that movie was revolutionary for its time. This one does everything the first movie does, but better. More action, more fleshed out characters, better visuals, a stronger storyline for the plot. This is easily one of the stronger X-Men movies in this entire franchise. X2 is extremely action-packed. X-Men 2000 has some good action sequences. It was cool to see those type of things brought to the big screen and brought to life. But what this movie does even better is it turns it up to 11, a perfect summer blockbuster that doesn't let off the gas at all. From the beginning of that sequence with Nightcrawler in the White House, it is all gas, no breaks throughout the entire course of this film. That scene definitely set the tone, and it's one of the best scenes throughout this movie. Then it continues that with just a strong, solid plot, but with more action. From the time that they say lights, camera, action, that's exactly what this is. Nothing but action. That mansion sequence where the soldiers are attacking and we get to see Wolverine really go off.
You wanna shoot me? Shoot me!
Hugh Jackman was so badass in this scene. Sneaking up on guys, jumping off a ledge, stabbing, slicing people. I'm actually surprised that they were able to pull off what they did in a PG-13 movie. Different times back then, they let more stuff get away, I'm sure. But, you know, we saw way worse stuff in Logan. But to be able to see that just added to how badass these action sequences were. Then it's capped off by a very satisfying third act at Alkali Lake, where we got to see a bunch of different things going on at the same time. We got to see Mystique use her abilities, go off against a bunch of guards. Very briefly, we got to see Jean versus Scott. Wish they would have did more of that, but obviously the big battle was Wolverine versus Lady Deathstrike. I'm not gonna lie, watching that as a kid, I was like, yo, Logan is getting fucked up. She was badass as well, and the way he dispatched of her was very creative. And it's like this movie knows exactly what it wants to be. An action-packed summer blockbuster. I feel like they accomplished it. They knew its identity and they didn't deviate away from that at all. Now, from a character and plot standpoint, this movie beautifully builds off the first one. On the character side, we get to see more of the side characters in a prominent role. Iceman, who is one of my all-time favorite X-Men, is introduced properly here. We got to see him a little bit in the first one, but we really get to see more of his abilities on display. Shawn Ashmore is perfect for Iceman, in my opinion. Loved him throughout this entire franchise. Pyro was a good character as well. We'll get to see more of him in Deadpool and Wolverine, but they do a good job at really starting that rivalry between them. Fire and Ice, you know, rivals each other really well. Rogue, you know, had a little bit more of a role as well. Nightcrawler was a good character that got a strong role throughout this entire movie. We got to see more of Mystique. So on that point, when it comes to the characters, I do feel like they nailed that as opposed to the first one. Now, from the plot side, we get to see a lot of things come to fruition that were touched on in the first movie. Magneto was right. A lot of things from his perspective were very prominent to this plot line. We got to see how the government perceived the mutant threat by either using them for their own means or trying to exterminate them, which is exactly what Magneto was talking about. And that's why Stryker was a perfect antagonist for this, because he is the representation of what the government is throughout the course of these films, while also adding more deeper layers to the Wolverine character. Now, while I do love the more prominent roles that the side characters like Iceman, Rogue, Nightcrawler, and Pyro take, once again, I feel like this movie lacks when it comes to the main cast outside of Wolverine, Xavier, and Magneto. It just feels like they don't know what to do with Cyclops. Yet again, they don't do him justice. I don't feel like the Fox movies really knew what direction they wanted to take his character. And then, spoiler alert for next video, they killed him off in Last Stand. Halle Berry, once again, is Storm. Great. Looks exactly like Storm, but she has no character development at all. Now, to their credit, they do try to do a little more and add more layers to the Jean character, but only as a love interest to Hugh Jackman and as Wolverine. And it's really hard to feel the magnitude of the moment when it comes to her overall sacrifice. Yeah, it's cool to see. It's a great scene visually, and it shows how powerful her character has become. But emotionally, I really do have a hard time connecting to the character, especially when it comes to Cyclops. I get it. He's in love with Jean, but it's really hard to connect with his feelings towards her sacrifice when they haven't done a good job at establishing these characters. And it's just hard for me to really be invested and care about it. All right, let's get to my favorite part. I think without a doubt, it has to be the Nightcrawler White House sequence. Like I had said earlier, it establishes momentum that this movie does not lose at all. And with the character of Nightcrawler, because of his abilities, you can do so much visually. The way it was choreographed, the way it was set up for his character, how it drove the plot as well. Easily not just one of the best scenes in this movie, but probably one of the best sequences in a superhero movie. Before I get out of here, a special PSA from yours truly, the Ace. Exclusive The Ace Avenue Deadpool and Wolverine inspired merchandise is available right now at spreadshop.com/The Ace Avenue. Get your hands on this merch from the biggest movie of the year. And for all those that buy merchandise, send me a picture at The Ace Avenue and I'll post it right here on the channel. But overall, this is one of the best X-Men movies. I know it's high on a lot of people's list. It's a strong sequel to what we already know that helps build the universe. Good characters, a good plot, and very, very action-packed. I'm going to give this a solid 8.5 out of 10. So with X-Men 2000 and X2 X-Men United, this universe is off to a great start. What could go wrong from here? But I appreciate you guys for watching. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. 2 down, 16 to go. Next one will be X-Men Last Stand. Can't wait for that one. Appreciate you guys for watching. You guys are the best. As always, thank you for tuning into the Ace Avenue. I am yours truly, the Ace. Adios.